Let's watch The Good Liars again, doubling down for the day. This time in North Carolina, speaking with Trump supporters, as while I do think this is pretty mind-numbing to experience, it's also quite the eye-opener to hear the MAGA perspective on life.
What things need to be changed?
I don't want boys in my little girl's restroom. I'm not for taking a baby.
Are you talking about trans people?
I'm not judging anybody, but I don't want real men that claim to be women in the bathroom with my granddaughters.
Has that happened?
Not yet.
So a couple of things to note here. She's doing the obvious common conflation of sex and gender. Sex, of course, is biological. Gender is neurosocial, and of which is the apparatus of which things like gendered bathrooms, splitting things by gendered is tethered to. A very simple way to think of this is, are all males men? No, because of course there's animal species that we obviously would not call men, but we understand that they're males. So we can see how sex is a biological truth and gender is a label that we as a society, we as a group of people decide to use to categorize people when generally speaking. And with that out of the way, we also know that empirically, when we look at the data, there is no heightened level of sexual assault that we see in gender neutral bathrooms, right? These exist all over the world already. And in some states, looking in other countries, there's been reductions in school-based bullying and victimizations in genderless bathrooms, and trans people are actually more likely to be sexually assaulted in gendered bathrooms than genderless bathrooms. So if sexual assault is your problem, why is it like the sexual assault of trans people you don't care about? And also, in general, they're victimized more rather than are the perpetrators of this kind of violent assault, right? So the perceived threat here isn't real on its face. And then adding to that, sexual assault already happens in women's public bathrooms and nobody is calling for like single person bathrooms, right? So it's clear it's just a trans attack. We don't allow exclusion if somebody fears another race or just fears that other race is more likely to sexually assault them. So why would we do that with gender?
I see you got a garbage bag from your belt here. Can you tell me about that?
Yeah, Joe Biden called us trash. So hey, if he's going to say it, why not?
All right, so you're kind of owning that.
Yeah, absolutely. If
now,
he wants to call us that.
Trump has called liberals scum and that kind of thing.
Mm-hmm.
Did that bother you?
No, it doesn't, because he's exactly right.
I think it's funny how easily MAGA will show that they're just hypocritical on their face, right? To them, they cheer on Trump attacking the other side. It's true, right? If you ask them, that's why it's okay. They're just accurately describing the left, so it's fine. But when the left does it to them, they just want to be the victim so bad, right? It really hurts their feelings. They're the oppressed, attacked group in America. It's really kind of weird to experience firsthand. It's like rich people who want to act poor in a way, right? They want the glory of that kind of like domination, so to speak, of being the bully, but they also want the sympathy of the underdog. And that's why we see them chanting with Trump to lock up Hillary and cheering that on to happen at a federal level where Trump went on and then tried 3 different times. And then they're pretending that instead it's some huge scandal with Trump when he gets prosecuted on the state level, because how could you do that to a conservative? Am I right? Or why they love calling Democrats, criminals, scum, whatever the insult Trump chooses for that day is, but then have such an issue all of a sudden with Biden saying that they're garbage, even though that's not even really what he said.
Going into 2024, will you trust the election results if Donald Trump wins?
If he wins, will I trust? Of course, I'll trust the election results if he wins. If he loses, I will not trust the election results.
So if Kamala wins, you would not trust the election results?
Absolutely not.
But does that feel like democracy is in trouble a little bit if you're not going to accept the results if the other candidate wins?
Well, it's at my prerogative to accept it or not.
Certainly your prerogative, but I mean, overall in this country, are we on unstable ground with democracy if a lot of people won't accept the election results?
Yes.
I love that he admits it at the end, because he literally knows, right? His side is threatening democracy in a very uniquely dangerous way. And the hypocrisy is asinine here as well. If Trump wins and Republicans win, it's a free and fair election. If Democrats win, it's rigged, no questions asked, even though the Democrats represent the majority in this country. And that alone kind of gives the game away, right? His side is like saying that 2020 was was supposed to be rigged, yet the Democrats didn't rig the Senate so they could have 60 seats to pass whatever they wanted. Like, why wouldn't they, right? They then went on to decide not to rig the election in 2022 either, instead just lose the House to the Republicans so they couldn't pass anything. And then there's the obvious question of why didn't they rig the 2016 election? You know, multiple Supreme Court appointments were going to be made, and they could have shifted the court liberal for the rest of our lifetimes, right? My lifetime. And instead they're just like, man, Trump, you take that one. I mean, these are talking points made by people who never critically engage with any sort of thought that might alter or disprove their current worldview. It's kind of wild to see happen in real time.